Alita Battle Angel finishes #1 on Blu-ray for the second week in a row, beating the likes of Hellboy, Shazam, Captain Marvel, Dumbo, and so on. And of course, we run the numbers, giving you the best estimate possible of how many units have actually been sold. While CBR has an article, Alita Battle Angel 2 could still happen. Well, of course it could. And E's People Choice Awards is asking for nominations of what we think this year's favorite movie should be. And Scott Mendelson argues that Marvel has made its competition redundant and irrelevant. Who needs Alita when you've got Wonder Woman? Wait, what? The Doctor is in. What's up guys, Doc Ito here with an Alita update. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any of Doc Ito's free repairs. So let's briefly look at this CBR article, which goes through the typical points talking about the box office, revenue, questions of whether a profit has been turned, with all indications being that it's been very close with just the theatrical revenue, and showing the quotes from Rosa Salazar about how she would want to play Alita forever and how she would love to do the sequel. They give examples like Pacific Rim and Starship Troopers that had a cult audience on home media, resulting in several sequels being greenlit. So will a sequel be made? The deciding factor might not be the box office, but home media sales. When Alita Battle Angel hit digital and home media, an energetic fan base, well aware of the box office struggles, rushed out to support the film by buying the DVDs. Their zeal will probably turn Alita into a cult classic on the home media market, which is exactly what we're trying to do. Because if we don't, this is the future we're looking at. Scott Mendelson talking about how Marvel has made its competition redundant, arguing that Marvel movies now take the place of other movies from other genres, because you can get everything you want entertainment-wise just from Disney's Marvel Cinematic Universe. Who needs a He-Man when you've got Thor Ragnarok? Who needs King Arthur when you've got Aquaman? Who needs, and this breaks my heart, Alita when you've got Wonder Woman? Who needs Dune when you've got Eternals? We saw Star Trek remolded to resemble Star Wars and then crash and burn once Star Wars came back. So if this is the world we want, where everything is just Disney/Marvel, that would be a sad future indeed. Which, for the record, Dune 2020 actually sounds pretty awesome. Denis Villeneuve is a great director, and it sounds like the movie has wrapped up filming and now has a December 18th, 2020 release, indicating Warner Brothers thinks it's going to be pretty darn successful. I really like the original books, and let me know in the comments if you think Dune is going to be pretty good. So no, the Eternals is not going to make Dune irrelevant, because we do not stand by in the presence of evil. We will support Alita, and we will support creative movies, not just Marvel movies. And for the record, I do like Marvel. I thought Infinity War was great, and Guardians of the Galaxy is one of my favorite movies. But going back to Alita, People's Choice asked for nominations for our favorite movies of 2019. Nominations are open for us to submit our favorites through Friday, nominating what movies we think are the best and are deserving of an award. So make sure you click through that link and head on over to the website and click this category for movies. Now, of course, I voted for Alita Battle Angel as the movie of 2019, which you can see here in the center. And then remember to log in here with email to actually make your vote count. So I put my email address in there. And then, of course, I had to click the I'm not a robot checkbox, because as an Alita fan, everyone thinks you're a robot. And then, of course, I had to pick a couple buses, and then I was good to go. So once I was verified and confirmed my email, once you've submitted the submission for your nomination for the best movie, remember that there are actually multiple categories. So you can close through this box, and if you go to the tab here at the top under movies, you can choose, the movie of 2019, which is what we just voted for. There's different categories such as the action movie of 2019, where I also voted for Alita. But when you do this, vote in several categories. It's probably good to vote for multiple movies, not just one, as we've seen with other polls, where they took Alita fans and deleted votes just because Alita did so well. So if you decide to vote in the poll, feel free to support Alita, and the link is at the bottom. Remember, the deadline is Friday to vote for it. And Dennis pointed out on Twitter that you actually get 25 votes per person, per category, per day. So that's kind of crazy. 25 votes here over limit if you vote over 25. Fan favorite window from August 12th to 16th. Voting methods permitted online. Fans can write in potential nominees in each category. Vote limit 25. So this is legit. They're literally asking for it. 25 votes per day. So everyone fire up those keyboards and vote. You might ask, does it really matter? Well, people are going to watch E's People Choice Awards, and if Alita does win, if it gets nominated, if we can vote for it in the award, that increases Alita exposure, which will help more people see the movie and will help people get a sequel for the movie. My only fear is what happened with the ranker poll can happen there too. The last time I talked about something like this on my YouTube channel, Alita suddenly became the #1 movie of all time, and ranker quickly created negative votes against Alita, quickly deleted votes, quickly deleted re-ranks, even though we did everything according to the rules, just because they wanted the overall rankings to be what they felt would be accurate. As you can see on the data here, it went from #1 to 1,000 overnight, slowly made its way back up to 137, with it now apparently 135 on the best movies of all time. However, if you click through the list, I actually don't see it in the list at all. So I'm not sure if they just did a quiet delete where you can still vote for it, you can still think it's 135th, but you actually can't see it. In any event, hopefully E doesn't do the same thing. They're literally asking us to vote 25 times a day per category. Remember to vote in the Alita sequel petition, with the petition over 61,000 votes at the moment. And if you haven't, do order the Blu-ray at the links below.
Hi, Alita Army. What's up, guys? Buy those Blu-rays, baby!
Last week, we ran the numbers comprehensively, looking at the Alita preliminary first week data, coming up with an estimate of roughly 500 to 600,000 units sold in the first week. I promptly forgot to save the file, lost it, and of course had to rebuild my model. In any event, let's look at the numbers. Blu-ray.com reports that for the week ending August 3rd, Alita Battle Angel remained at #1 on Blu-ray and overall packaged media charts. The visually stunning sci-fi epic, according to them, the movie may have struggled to connect in theaters. They go over the numbers, which we already know theatrically, and then say Alita had a very solid Blu-ray market share of 74%, with Alita finishing #1 for the week of August 3rd, 2019. During the same week, Media Play News reports that Alita was also #1 with a 100% index, and all these other movies behind it have a smaller index indicating what fraction of Alita's market share they had. So Hellboy sold about half of what Alita did in this second week Alita was available, with Captain Marvel 20% and Dumbo 13%. And of course, we used last week's numbers to try to estimate where Alita ended up. Now, we can't just go to the numbers and get their weekly Blu-ray charts because they're only on July 14th data, and they often report 3-week data for its first week the movie is out. So for instance, Captain Marvel, they report 886,000 Blu-ray units, but it's been out for 3 weeks. So it takes a little while to build up that number. So now that we have data to July 14th, let's try to run these numbers again. And yes, I had to rebuild this model because I lost everything. Remember guys, just like voting, save early, save often. So the first week Alita was out was July 27th. So that means we have to estimate where Captain Marvel was around that time to fine-tune our first week estimates. Seeing as it's losing about 6,000 to 8,000 a week, we're probably looking in the 50,000 to 60,000 range for Captain Marvel, which was 8% of Alita's number. 50,000 divided by 0.0812 gives us around 600,000 units sold. But if Captain Marvel was around 60,000, now we're looking at around 700,000 units sold, which would be great. Next would be estimating Dumbo in week 5, which is most similar to a movie like Bumblebee, which had around 20,000 to 30,000 units in that week. So 20,000 divided by 0.06543 would be around 300,000 units. And if we use the same math for 30,000, we would be looking at 460,000. Let's do the same math with Aquaman, which has been selling right around 15,000 to 20,000 units. 15,000 divided by 0.0391 is 400,000 units, and 20,000 with the same math gives us 500,000 units. So overall for week 1 of Alita, we're probably looking at 500,000 to 700,000 sold, which is pretty good as we're going to see. Now let's take a look at week 2. We know Alita was still #1, about twice as much as the next movie out, with Captain Marvel now only about 20% of Alita's totals, and Aquaman at 8.5%. Again, let's use the 10,000 to 20,000 Aquaman range. 10,000 divided by 0.0851 would be 120,000 units, and 20,000 would be about 235,000 units for Alita in its second week. Captain Marvel in its 10th week is probably going to be around 50,000 units or 40,000 units. So if we take 50,000 divided by 2105, we're looking at 240,000 for Alita. And if it's closer to 40,000, then 190,000 in sales for Alita. Dumbo's falling off pretty quick. Looking at how Bumblebee did, we're looking at probably 10 to 14,000 for Dumbo in its 6th week. So if we say 10,000 divided by 0.1286, 80,000 units. If it's 15,000, the math comes to around 120,000 units. But Dumbo could be a lot higher than this. It's a Dumbo movie, so who knows. Overall, though, most estimates, as you saw by the numbers, are somewhere in between 150,000 and I just realized I misspelled that, 500,000. Anyways, week 2, 150,000 to 250,000 units sold, with most movies falling about 60% per week when starting with the week 1 values. Week 3 estimates, and again, we don't even have market share for here, would be anywhere from 90,000 to 150,000, putting the first value that the numbers is going to report anywhere from 740,000 to 1.1 million units sold, which would be a fantastic number, seeing as Captain Marvel was right in that range at 900,000 units reported for the first 3 weeks in sales, and it's already made 48 million at the domestic box office, with more to come. So if Alita can break around 800,000 to a million for its 3-week total, I think that puts us in great position for a sequel, meaning that the movie is probably going to make around that 50 million domestic mark, which I think is a great sweet spot for a potential sequel. I mean, think about it. Captain Marvel made $1.1 billion at the box office. For Alita to get anywhere near the amount of revenue from the domestic side at the home video market is going to be really huge, since it only made about a third of the theatrical box office, really pushing us forward toward that sequel. So of course we're going to follow these numbers and keep you guys updated as we get more info. Of course, take them with a grain of salt until we actually get the numbers from the numbers, since the website I used and the numbers use a different day of the week to end the week, and these are all estimates based on estimates based on estimates. But I have a feeling they're going to be pretty darn close to what we're going to see, and that means it's very likely, or at least very possible, that Alita, right now, 3 weeks in, is at 1 million copies in the Blu-ray sold, and looking very good for a potential sequel. For now, continue to support Alita, because we do not stand by in the presence of evil, and remember to vote for Alita nominated in the Fan Awards. Y'all have a great day, God bless, and we'll talk to you soon. Doc out.